question with Coach Vitello.
What went the decision to start Kavaris tonight?
He was the best practice player the last 2 days. Just that simple. He's always working hard, takes a lot of swings in here, but baseball unfortunately requires, intent all the time. And, he did that as well as anybody, if not the best, the last 2 days. And obviously we put in a lot of practice following Tuesday's game.
What was it like to see Zane hit for the cycle tonight?
It was pretty cool. The best part was seeing the smile on his face. I mean, I just mentioned it to John Wilkerson. He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve quite as much as some of the guys in the past, and Charlie's like that too. And it's comforting to know that a guy is well prepared. He's stoic or even keeled, if you want to call it, but he's also always competing. But every now and then, it is a kid's game. You got to have some fun, and to see that huge smile on his face was awesome. In particular, I think he had a little chip on his shoulder from Tuesday. He had a couple times he could have helped us. I did too. We all had a couple times where we would like to go back and do something different. But Tuesday was Tuesday. Tonight's tonight, and he came with a little edge to him. And normally that's the way everybody plays their best, is when they got that.
What's it been with Zane's approach and discipline coming into the year? Because he was sniffing out the on-base opportunities. Tonight he hits for the cycle. What's the key been for him this year?
Yeah, I think tonight he was aggressive in the right way. Sometimes when you walk or strike out, there was a pitch earlier in the at-bat that you could have put into play, but you pull off a little bit, or you just miss it for whatever reason, or you overswing. And tonight he took some healthy hacks, but he looked really good even on his swings and misses, and he put the balls in play that he was capable of doing so. So it was the perfect storm of him getting his pitch and putting his swing to it. But overall, I think he's benefited from having good hitters in front of him, behind him, but also just being a little more under control in certain situations so that he can get on base and add that to his resume. Most good hitters have at least 2 or 3 ways they can beat you, but you're a better hitter if you got 5 or 6 ways you can beat somebody, and I feel like he's improved in some areas.
You talk about getting a lot of firsts out of the way and how that's good. Maui Huna getting his first home run for you guys this season. How good was it to see that?
It was awesome. I mean, he's been close, but also he's only accumulated, I think he's now sitting at 30 plate appearances or maybe 30 at-bats or something like that. So good for him. And I'll tell you what, normally as a coach, you think you're smarter than you are, but you honestly could kind of see it coming. He's taken good swings. Some of the results haven't been there, but in the last couple of days, his swing has looked really clean and looked really good. And I think in combination, he's not trying to make up for lost time anymore. He's just kind of getting in the rhythm of playing, as opposed to trying to make up for games lost within one game. And we all know that's not humanly possible.
Third game for Ahuna in the leadoff spot now. Just what do you think that's done for his confidence, and what does he do that kind of makes him the best fit for that spot?
Well, he can run, first of all, and he's a good athlete. I mean, if we need him to bunt, he can do different things that way. But also, just based off his numbers last year, he's an improved hitter throughout his entire career, including high school. He just keeps getting better and better. He's got good hand-eye coordination, so call it bat-to-ball skills or whatever. But he can hit and run or fight off pitches with 2 strikes. So he's got all the skills to hit just anywhere in the top of the order. But it seemed like in scrimmages in the fall, when we would put him in that slot, just the productivity was the best. And maybe it's coincidence, and scrimmages aren't necessarily games, but that's what it seemed like. So that was the target at the start of the season. There's a delay, and then once he comes back in, for whatever reason, I just felt it was a little easier on him to slide into the middle of the lineup, and then we'd pick our spot when it was time to put him where he is now. And for now, that's what he is. And like most teams across the country, there's going to be, he may or may not move, but there's going to be some shifting with pitching and hitting.
Bit of a rocky start for Chase, but he got back on track. What did you see from him tonight?
Yeah, just barely missing a few pitches, to that glove side. They looked good. They just weren't strikes. And I guess close only counts in horseshoes and other things. But he righted the ship and got out of that inning. And then when he got in a rhythm, it was really fun to watch too. So that's a good combination to have. I've been around plenty of pitchers that, when they're in a rhythm, it goes pretty well. Well, he's got great stuff, so when he's in a rhythm, it goes great. But the most key thing to have is that attribute where it gets a little, dicey. Can you reach down with some grit and get after it? And he's got that element as well. It's a good combination.
How'd you see the team respond from that frustrating Tuesday loss over the past couple days?
I think the right way. You know, anytime it might have been fortunate there was a gap in games, last game and this game, because anytime something goes poorly or you don't like how things went or it's a downer of any kind, it needs to be a downer. You need to marinate in it a little bit. And maybe, again, it helped that there was some time to do that and then transition into, okay, it's time to prepare for the next task, and that's what we had tonight. But, you know, tomorrow's a new day. This was only one game, and you only get credit for one win in the series, but this game did happen, and Tuesday did happen. And it could go all the way back to Arizona. So you start building up some lessons learned and some history, and they all matter. And I think one thing I mentioned on the Tony Vitello show, whenever he would let me talk, I slid in a comment that this team, if you pay attention statistically, and then also emotionally, if that's the right category, they've shown they respond pretty well. Now, it's nice to win all your games. So you don't have to respond with a win after that or kind of get a Listerine win tonight, you know, kind of wash the bad taste out of your mouth. But they've shown they respond pretty well to date. I hope that trend continues.
You know, Zane kind of talked about how much time he spent in the cages. Can you just talk about his work ethic and attitude since he got here last fall?
Yeah, I think his work ethic has been outstanding from day one. To me, maybe he feels like he's putting in more work. I see him being a little more systematic and having a plan. And part of the whole deal might have been, hey, you come into a new program, you just want to fit in, you don't want to step on anyone's toes. But everyone needs to implement stuff that works for them individually. As long as it's within the framework of the team, we're cool with that. So he's taking advantage of the resources we have here. And, you know, now SEC school, we're fortunate to have managers, and so he gets whatever he wants when he wants to go to work. The nice thing is he's got a good plan in place. And, man, it's a blessing to have kids like him and Griffin and Jared Dickey, Blake Burke. They're good players, but they also have open ears. And they're willing to improve and listen to what you got for them and get better, as opposed to giving you the "I got it" is the worst phrase in the world for us coaches to hear, or, you know, look at my stat sheet or what I did last year, I got it figured out, let me go. They're an eager group to learn, and you have to have that in order to peak at the end of the year, play your best baseball at the end of the year. Excuse me, I'm getting excited. You know, it goes without saying. Tonight was good, but we haven't played as good a baseball as we need to or we're capable of. So hopefully the future is bright.